being honest, like, our job is for our individual fighters, but also for our stables. And when I look at Moses Itauma, I look at this guy, he's going to be given the task to beat him in the rivalry with Frank Warren. And we said that earlier in our coffee, you know, I said, Moses looked good, he said, yeah, you know, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but obviously every fighter believes they can beat fighters, and he believes that he will beat Moses Itauma. And he's our guy over the time. I know Leo Tang as well, but he's 18 years of age. You know, Terra Moana is still 12 months behind Moses because of the professional fights that he's had and the rounds that he's done and 10-round championship fights. We're 8-0, but that was separated by the Olympic Games as well. So I just feel that it's not a fact that we're targeting Moses Itauma. We're targeting the World Heavyweight Championship. And I believe Moses Itauma will be World Heavyweight Champion or fighting for World Heavyweight Championships. And therefore, Terra Moana's going to fight him. And that's a tremendous fight because this guy's 120 kilos and he's fast on his feet, punches like a mule, he's tough, and he won't allow you just to, you know, unload against you on the ropes or feint you up and down and make you jump around on your feet. He'll be throwing back with you, and his movement and his speed will be matching Moses Itauma. I truly think that Moses against Terra Moana in time, and you know, we're talking 18 months probably because of his development as well, that could be one of the great fights of the heavyweight division.
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. So you heard Eddie Hearn there and Terra Moana speaking extensively to the Australian boxing channel. So shout out to them. Go give them a listen to the full interview. All right. So we've had Moses Itauma under the Queensbury promotion, the Queensbury banner, doing great things in the sport of boxing. Just Ice Dylan White, right? The body snatcher, or the baby snatcher, as he's being called these days. And they're looking for the next fight for Moses. Alexander Usyk's being called out loudly by the fans, by some of the Queensbury officials that are working behind the scenes, media, stuff like that. They're calling out Moses. They say they're calling for Moses Itauma versus Alexander Usyk. And that's been the talking point recently. And a lot of the content creators and the real fans of the sport are saying, no, maybe we need to see Itauma do a few rounds. We need to match him up against somebody who can give him these rounds to make him obviously look a bit more impressive, but obviously so we can see if there's any weaknesses or to make sure he can do the rounds. Like throwing him with Usyk right now is throwing him into the lion's den. Hasn't been over 6 rounds. Usyk, 12 rounds multiple times against some of the best in the world. So look, Eddie Hearn has been spanked by Frank Warren and Queensbury a couple of times. He's on a bit of a losing streak. And he wants to get one back. Eddie Hearn used to rule the heavyweight division with Anthony Joshua as the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Those days are long since gone now. Usyk took the belts off of Joshua and they've never seen them back since. So Eddie Hearn has been quietly trying to build up his heavyweight stable. Frank Warren seems to be the man at the moment who has all the heavyweights. I mean, I don't need to read them out to you. All the big heavyweights: Joseph Parker, Ajit Caballel, Tyson Fury, Moses Itauma, Daniel Dubois, a whole host of others, Dylan White. They're all with Queensbury at the moment. So Eddie Hearn is now, you have to go back to the drawing board, and he's watching. He's seen this. He's looked at the heavyweight division. Look like he's lost. He's lost it now. He's lost control of that heavyweight division. Frank's taken over. So he's slowly building up his stable at the moment. Obviously, you've got Leo Tang, only 18 years old. You heard him mention Leo Tang, only 2 years younger than Moses Itauma. But fighters, they peak at different times. To put Leo Tang in with Moses Itauma right now wouldn't be a great move. Moses seems to be a bit more ahead than Leo Tang. So that should be a fight for later on. I'm talking about maybe 4 years, 5 years, we'll see that fight when Leo develops. Moses probably be champion, and Leo Tang will probably be a challenger. But right now, that ain't a great fight. Terra Moana from Australia. He's had about 6 or 7 fights. Big, strong heavyweight, fast on his feet. Haven't seen much of him, hasn't done many rounds, but this is Eddie Hearn's secret weapon. Eddie's secret weapon. This is what Eddie has got under his sleeve to take on Itauma. right? Because all these big promoters, if I was a promoter and I saw Itauma, I'd be like, right, I'll be looking for someone to get in a heavyweight who I think could match him at some point. It's the same thing that Frank Warren did with Daniel Dubois when Eddie Hearn had Anthony Joshua. Frank Warren signed Daniel Dubois on the fact that Daniel Dubois gave Anthony Joshua a tough time in sparring. He saw Daniel was young, strong, hungry. Thought, yes, I'll bring him in. This is going to be my man. They've got AJ, I've got Daniel Dubois, right? AJ received all the accolades, was unified champion of the world, getting a lot of attention. Eventually, Dubois dethroned him, okay? So, Moses, listen, everyone thinks that it's going to be plain sailing for Moses. 20-year-old prodigy, they think it's going to be plain sailing for him. He's going to go just pick up the belts and that's it. No. Leo Atang, Tera Moana, Dubois still about. Parker's still around, 32 years old. He might be at the end, but, experience. Look at Alexander Usyk at 38 ruling the division. There's still a host of other heavyweights out there, man. There's still a host of other heavyweights. Young heavyweights will be coming through as well. So, look, Moses is the prodigy, but I believe there will be plenty of competition for him, especially when he reaches roughly about 25, 26. There'll be some other heavyweights coming through. There will be. Laws of average will tell you that there'll be other heavyweights coming through, and there will be some competition for Moses. I believe this will be a strong generation. We've had the last golden era. I believe this was a golden era. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, that era. Even though these guys didn't want to fight each other, eventually they did mix it up. We still need to see Fury versus Joshua. But I believe this next generation that's coming through will be another strong generation. Hrgovic as well, I forgot to mention, still there. A rough and rugged. I don't want to call him a journeyman, but he's a top 10 fighter. If you can't beat Hrgovic, you ain't getting a shot at the title. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? But Itauma, Tera Moana. That's a fight that Eddie Hearn got his visions on, and Matchroom seem to be they're how can I say, they are grooming Tera Moana for that Moses Itauma fight at some point. So Moses has got some work on his hands. He's got the talent. He's gaining all the notoriety. Let's see if he can take it all the way. Anyway, do us a favour. Enough said. Smash the like button. Hit that bell for notifications to get all the new and latest videos.